Most people think of Antarctica as nothing more than an endless stretch of ice. A frozen wasteland at the bottom of the Earth, untouched, uninhabited, and irrelevant. But what if everything we've been told about this icy continent is a lie? What if Antarctica is not just a remote landmass, but the most heavily guarded secret on Earth? A secret so ancient, so powerful, that entire governments have worked together for decades to make sure you never find out the truth. This isn't science fiction. This is real history, buried under layers of ice, time, and deception. In 2025, new evidence has begun to surface. Leaked satellite data, whistleblower testimonies, and strange electromagnetic anomalies have reignited the most disturbing question of our time. What is hidden beneath Antarctica? And why have the world's most powerful nations worked so hard to keep you away from it? Let's rewind. In 1947, the U.S. launched the largest military expedition in its history to Antarctica. It was called Operation Highjump. Officially, it was a training exercise, but you don't send 700 troops, 13 warships, an aircraft carrier, and cutting-edge weapons to train. The operation was led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd, a decorated pilot and polar explorer. But what Byrd witnessed during that mission has never been fully revealed. Shortly after returning, Byrd gave an interview warning that the U.S. should prepare to defend against flying craft that could travel from pole to pole at incredible speeds. He talked of advanced technology and unknown threats coming from Antarctica, but his statements were quickly censored. The media ignored it. The military went silent, and within months, Operation Highjump was classified, sealed away in cold secrecy. Then came 1959, the year the Antarctic Treaty was signed. 12 powerful nations, including Cold War enemies like the US and the Soviet Union, suddenly came together in total peace to ban all military activity, resource extraction, and private exploration of the continent. Think about that. A land larger than Europe, potentially filled with valuable resources like oil, gold, and minerals, and yet, no one is allowed to touch it. In the history of humanity, has that ever happened before? For over 6 decades, no private company, no journalist, no independent citizen has been allowed to freely explore Antarctica's interior. There are no real-time satellite feeds from its center. Flights over the pole are restricted, and all scientific research is controlled under international supervision. That's not environmental protection. That's a global cover-up. But cover-ups eventually crack. Over the past few years, a number of disturbing pieces have come to light. One of the most controversial is the so-called Antarctic Pyramid. Images leaked in 2012 and again in 2017 show a massive triangular formation protruding from the ice. So geometrically perfect it rivals the Great Pyramid of Giza. Mainstream media dismissed it as a natural mountain, yet experts in geology argued that such symmetry is virtually impossible without artificial construction. The structure is almost completely buried under snow, but enough is visible to suggest it may not be natural at all. That alone would be extraordinary, but it's just the tip of the iceberg, literally. New radar scans by independent researchers in 2023 showed massive underground cavities, tunnels, and heat signatures under the ice sheet, some extending over 300 miles wide. In a place that is supposed to be frozen solid for millions of years, these areas are warm, active, and unexplained. And then there are the ancient maps. In 1531, a man named Orontes Phineas drew a map of the world on it. Antarctica is clearly visible, accurately shaped, and more importantly not covered in ice. This was 300 years before the continent was even, officially, discovered. How could he have known? The only explanation is that older maps existed. Ancient maps. Records of Earth geography before Antarctica froze over. Historians have tried to dismiss the map as coincidence. But what if it wasn't? What if Antarctica once supported life? A lush, thriving civilization, wiped out by a global cataclysm, buried in a polar shift, and frozen in time beneath miles of ice. For centuries, the idea of a lost advanced civilization, Atlantis, Lemuria, or something else, has been dismissed as mythology. But what if those stories were based on real places? What if Antarctica is that lost cradle of humanity? Let's take it further. In 2025, several independent whistleblowers have come forward claiming to have worked at top secret installations under the Antarctic ice. One former Navy engineer described massive underground caverns, artificial lighting systems, and ancient ruins covered in unknown symbols. He claimed these facilities were jointly operated by US and NATO forces, and that the primary objective was not research, but containment. Containment of what? Another whistleblower, allegedly connected to the NSA, claimed Antarctica is home to non-human technology, massive, ancient devices that are still operational. He said these machines emit low-frequency signals that affect Earth's electromagnetic field, and may be responsible for unexplained phenomena like the Schumann resonance shifts and sudden geomagnetic storms. But if that sounds unbelievable, consider this: in 2023, scientists from the European Space Agency detected a massive gravitational anomaly beneath Wilkes Land, an area the size of Ohio. This anomaly, buried under 2 miles of ice, suggests the presence of a massive object, denser than rock, likely metallic, and possibly hollow. The data was quietly suppressed. Why would something like that be hidden? Because if humanity discovered undeniable proof of an ancient civilization, possibly more advanced than ours, it would destroy everything: our religious beliefs, our political systems, our sense of identity. Everything we've built our world around would collapse. That's why the secret must be kept. In 2016, WikiLeaks published a strange set of emails between astronaut Edgar Mitchell and Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman John Podesta. In them, Mitchell repeatedly urged Podesta to help reveal non-violent ETs living in our solar system, and warned of a Vatican cover-up of extraterrestrial knowledge. One of the topics mentioned, Antarctica. Why would a former astronaut be discussing aliens, the Vatican, and Antarctica in the same conversation? Unless all three are connected. Now consider this: multiple world leaders have made bizarre, secretive trips to Antarctica over the past decade. Russian Patriarch Kirill, former Secretary of State John Kerry, and even Buzz Aldrin, all visited Antarctica under strange circumstances. Aldrin allegedly left early, citing health issues, but later tweeted something shocking: "We are all in danger." It is evil itself. The tweet was quickly deleted. But what did he see? It's now believed that deep beneath the Antarctic ice are structures not built by humans. At least, not humans as we know them. Some believe these are remnants of a pre-human race. Others say it's evidence of extraterrestrial contact. But regardless of the theory, one thing is clear: the official narrative is a lie. We've been told that humans only emerged as a civilization 6,000 years ago. That we evolved slowly. That nothing advanced came before us. But all around the world, from the ruins of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey to the pyramids of Egypt to strange underwater cities off the coast of Japan, there is evidence that challenges that story, and Antarctica may hold the final proof. In 2025, global temperatures are rising. Antarctica's ice is melting faster than ever. New cracks are opening. Satellite images are harder to hide. And more truths are surfacing every day. The question is, what happens when the ice fully melts? What will we uncover? What will humanity do when it finally faces the forgotten truth? That we are not the first advanced civilization to walk this earth. And we might not be alone. If Antarctica truly holds the story of Earth's lost history, of technology, cataclysm, and ancient power, then its exposure is inevitable. They can't hide it forever. So the next time you look at a map and glance down at that giant white space labeled Antarctica, remember, it's not empty. It's not just frozen land. It's the vault of everything they never wanted you to know. And as the ice melts, the lies melt with it. If you believe this truth needs to be told, like this video, subscribe to Ancient Light, and share this with someone who still thinks Antarctica is just snow and penguins. Because the world's biggest secret is melting right now.